Hi, I'm Lars. Welcome back to our farm. Normally it's the shop and I'm doing some woodworking in there. We are going to be doing some woodworking today. This is more traditional woodworking with what it takes to do stuff on a farm. About 5 months ago, we had a mink get into our farm, into our barn, and literally culled 7 or 8 chickens. I think it was 7 chickens within like 30 seconds. So we dropped from 12 chickens down to 5 chickens, and then we had another chicken pass away because chickens do, and now we're down to 3. So that's just for today. So we had 3 chickens that are adults. We have since then, in March, since it's May now, in March we picked up about 16, well, not about, we did. In March we picked up 16 more chickens, and this is how fast chickens grow if you guys have never seen a chicken and how fast they grow. So these are pretty big girls right now. I got to put their little screen in, and this is what this whole thing's about. Let's get you in here. Start this again. Now, as you can see, this is a little bit of a pain in the butt to get in and out because their water is in there on this side, and over here they have their feed, which have to fill up their feeders on this side. So as you can tell, this is a little bit of a pain to get in and out. Water's on this side, feed's on that side. This is where we have to keep them because the other chickens will attack them until they get a certain size, which we still have a couple more weeks for that. But this is going to be something that's going to be in and out, in and out, in and out all summer long, and we can't close the doors to keep them secure. We do have coyotes. Again, like I said, we do have minks around here, weasels, and although minks are really cute, they will cull chickens like that. A mink is a little different than a normal animal. Like a coyote will come in and grab one chicken and take off, and then they'll eat it and they'll be happy. A mink goes in and they kill as many things as they want, as they can, and then they start eating on one of them. And they may not even come back and eat the rest of it, okay? They just, I don't know why, it's like a cat. They're just kind of getting their nature. So we're gonna take this screen here today, and I'm gonna put some wood down so I can remove these individual panels. This one will still be able to be removed, but it'll be more standard in there, because we have to kind of keep them in behind the cage, because when they get bigger, as soon as we open these doors, they're going to jump out. This is the bigger of the, what we call the coops. There's a whole other run in here, which you'll see in a little bit. But we still need to keep these guys separated from the bigger ones for a couple more weeks. And they will be there, they have to get locked down every night due to the minks and the coyotes and stuff. So I need to take this and also move it back into the coop. And then these doors can close with this in place, so it's like kind of like a screen window. We want the screen to be there, but also be able to shut the window and open it back up. Like I said, this was a makeshift thing a couple years ago when probably about 4 years ago when we got chickens, and we haven't used it in like, about 4 years. But now we're trying to keep these guys and the other group separated. We're going to keep this in here to give them air during the day, and they'll be able to get out and mingle and everything, but we still think this is a good spot for everybody to get some air. So to give you a perspective, over here is a small chicken coop. This is our indoor chicken run, which is like 9 by 18, and then this is a smaller chicken coop for the chickens that we currently have, because we only have 3 of them, so we put them in the smaller one. Normally get chickens like maybe 6 at a time, and so we usually put them in the smaller chicken coop until they get a little bit bigger, or sometimes we'll keep them in the basement. But this time we have to replenish our entire flock, so we've got 16 chickens, so we had to use the bigger coop. But now what I need to do before we get started on anything is I need to get this chicken run cleaned out. It's not bad. It hasn't been cleaned since over the winter. So chickens they pretty much poop everywhere, okay? You try to keep hay down, you keep it clean as much as you can, but when the winter comes in, you gotta put your hay down to keep that ground insulated, so when they do get down to go out, because they still like to go out in the winter. Chickens are usually good to go out until, I don't know, 0 degrees, -10, somewhere around there, Fahrenheit. So they can get out pretty good. And as long as they keep their talons underneath them, they can sit there and roost in that weather all day long. Now, we keep ours in a barn. A lot of people I know, they'll keep them out underneath this little shelter here. And if it gets too cold, they'll bring them into their house or to their basement or to into their barn or whatever. We just have a lot of coyotes and stuff around here. I don't know what that was. That hit the barn pretty hard. I gotta go check on that. No idea what I was talking about. All right, so normally when we get chickens, we usually get like 6 to 8 of them. And we'll use this little coop, or we'll put them in the basement for a while. These 16 chickens did start out in the basement because it was so cold here in March. So they started down there for about 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and then we brought them out here when temperatures got around about 50 degrees overnight. And that's including having a heat lamp, okay? Because it was pretty cold here during the March time frame. So we put heat lamps in there, and that kept them around 70 degrees, I think, 70, 80. And they have to be at that temperature for a long time. When you first get them, they have to be at 90 degrees. So that's why you usually have, really small confined areas with heat lamps on them. And you'll notice, because they'll start spreading their wings out a little bit and trying to stay cool, and then you can start moving the heat lamps up or turn one of them off or whatever you need to do. Give them an area that's warm and an area that's cool, so it kind of splits the difference and they can get away from it. When they get to the point where they're really moving away from the light all the time is when you bring them out to the barn or someplace else that's bigger, which we have this place in the barn, and put a heat lamp down, and then they start, the temperature you try to keep under the lamp around like 70 degrees so they can come in and out. But as long as they can come in and out and get that real happy zone, so now they can pretty much deal without having a heat lamp at all. They're good to go, and their temperature I think they can get down to now is like maybe 20 degrees. When they get older, they get more their flight wings, if we call them, the flight feathers. Not that a chicken can fly, they can jump pretty cool, kind of like Superman. They can jump really far distances and kind of guide themselves in, but they don't fly. So right now I've got to get this coop cleaned out. It's got layers of stuff in there since it's been there all winter. So you put, chickens poop, they pee, just like everybody else, and you keep hay down or straw down on the ground. We used to use a lot of old hay from our goats, but now we got rid of the goats, we don't have any more hay, so we have a bunch of straw left. And we'll put straw down to keep them insulated from the ground, because their little talons or their fingers, their feet, they have their feet get really cold. So when you put the hay down, it keeps the ground insulated. But it's got to get cleaned out. So I'll clean it out today, and then I'll clean it out together again. We usually keep it pretty clean, but over the winter you don't really want to mess with it too much because you get that cold and they'll get really bad. And then I'll clean it right before we decide we're not going to clean for winter again, okay? So it'll be being cleaned all the time, but then it gets to the point where we're going to do a deep cleaning and hose it out and get it all good, and then we'll put hay down, about yay much, 4 inches or so, and it will just stay for the rest of the winter. But now we're locking our chickens down every night. They each will go into each set of these coops, and they will stay there overnight. We come out in the morning, we'll unlock the doors, let them back out. There might not be as much need to clean that main area. Now these coops here, we clean these things, I want to say about twice a week, all right? It's not like a cat's litter box where you want to clean it every single day, but about twice a week. Cleaning a coop when the chickens are in it, or even when they're out of it, if they're anywhere around, it kind of freaks them out a little bit. Seeing a shovel coming in them, they flip out. You don't want to do that. So you want to do it when they're outside. The best time you can do is when they're outside. The little chickens, right now we can't do that, so they freak out pretty bad. So we're trying to keep that like once a week. So opening them up and getting them out of here is going to be good, so I can clean that entire thing out this week. So as you can see, this is a lot cleaner than it was. I think I'm going to forego the power washing of the floor because there's not a lot of stains on it. And being that we did lose some chickens over the winter, and I did get them locked up like 4 or 5 months ago, there really wasn't much here except for a bunch of old hay. So once that all came up, it looks pretty good. Normally about once a year when I would come in, I'd grab a hose and I'd hose this whole thing down. But it wouldn't look much better than it is right now. So if you're looking at getting chickens, and by all means, chickens are a great thing. The eggs are amazing. Chickens right now are running about $3 a piece for a small chicken. They're about yay big, like a day old. It takes you 5 months for them to start producing eggs. And when they start producing eggs, they're only going to be probably about this tall. They're just little tiny, like little pigeon eggs. They're good. You can eat them. You see a few of them. Like maybe 3 make up 1. And within about a month or 2, you'll get an extra large brown egg. Now we raise Rhode Island Reds, or a mix of Rhode Island Reds. Right now we got all Rhode Island Reds. And they're pretty cool chickens. They're pretty laid back. They'll get to know you and be friendly to them when they're really small, like, you know, pet their chests and everything, and they'll come up to you and they're curious, and it'll be easier for you to be around them when they get older. When people come over to our house, they want to see the chickens and whatever, they come up, the chickens run away from them. They don't want anything to do with them. When I walk up, because I feed them, my wife feeds them, they just come right up and say, hey, what's going on? You get some food? Because they know you. And that's really cool. These are egg layers. So we raise Rhode Island Red egg layers, and they produce pretty decent eggs. Usually about every 24 to 28 hours, a chicken will lay an egg. All right. You do not need a rooster. I don't know how many people that have asked me, why don't I need a rooster? Well, it's basic biology. Hens or females, they drop an egg once a day. Okay, that's a chicken. A woman is a female. She drops an egg once a month. Get the idea? All right. So now what I need to do is I need to build a ramp on that side to allow the little chickens to come down, and I need to take out this. We have a 2x4 in here that's kind of collapsed over. I don't know how. It just, you know, things happen. So I got to do a little bit of work in here, and then we'll get the chickens moved over and get started on that screen. All right, so this is a coop. There's a chicken run. There's a ramp going up into this coop. These are nesting boxes, which are accessible from the outside. So when they lay eggs, they'll jump up into there during the day and they'll lay their eggs. It's not uncommon to find 2 to 3, 4, 20 eggs in one of the nesting boxes. Once they see that someone's laid there, they figure it's a safe place to lay. This is the ramp that I just put back in. I did not film this because I don't want to bring my recording equipment into the coop, because coops are someplace you want to keep as much stuff out of, and what that means is if you have a set of shoes that you're going to go into your coop, like I've got my barn shoes, I don't wear these into town, I don't wear these anyplace else where there's any birds or anything like that. You could pick up an avian flu of some sort on your shoes, come back to your coop, walk through your coop, walk back out, and the next thing you know, all of your birds have it and they're all dead. So you got to keep that in mind. Secondly, you need some sort of a box like this, just a frame. There's no bottom on this, it's just a frame. And what's in it is mulch and play sand. And what chickens do is they get in it and then they clean themselves. They flip it all over the place, they rub their feathers around, and when they walk out, they kind of poof like a peacock. Their feathers just go all over the place, and then all that will be like a dust, and they walk away. So this is what the inside of a chicken coop looks like. Now those garbage cans I took out of here, like I said, they weigh about 100 to 120 pounds a piece, and our cat's in here already looking for, she must have got a scent of a rat someplace. But anyway, the garbage cans weigh about 125 pounds a piece, and I took 6 of them out of here. All right, now we have access to the doors inside of our coop, everything that's in the coop remotely. So outside of our coop, we have all remote access to all of our boxes, and this is something that you want to do if you're going to build a chicken coop. Secondly, you're going to want doors to the outside world that you can control from the inside. As you can see, I've got a hook here. As you can see, I've got a hook here, and I'm going to hook on this hook, and what that did is that opened that door right there. Alright, now the other one that we have, that's hooked up with a pulley system. We have another one over here that its hook is down here on the bottom, right here by the door. We used to have it out here, it used to come through here and come down, but we had one of the ropes break, and that's where we put it, and so we figured out we really like it there. So the next part of this is to get these girls into that other coop. When you're putting straw into the coop on the floor, just to make it look pretty, you're going to come across some little straw twine, okay? Do not leave any of this in your coop, in the chicken run, anywhere. Anything like this they will see, especially if it's red, and they will eat it. And you will come back in an hour or two and you'll have a dead chicken that they choked to death because they can't process it, they can't digest it. They think it's a worm, all right? But when you're done throwing down straw, it'll look a lot like this. So it looks like a nice clean coop. Chicken's happy, sitting down there at the end. And now I can get her out of here so I can bring the baby chicks in so I can start working on the other, on the screen. So now we got the chickens in their new little temporary area, and the bigger chickens are outside. They're freaked out because they just moved to another area, and they really haven't moved much in the last probably 30 minutes. This happens with chickens when you move them. A lot of times you got to physically pick them up and move them. Sometimes they'll venture around a little bit, but they haven't even come over to see their food and water. Hopefully before I'm done with the actual fence, hopefully they'll get moved. They'll be getting more comfortable because they're gonna have to be in and out of this area pretty much weekly for the next couple weeks. Like, they'll be in here at least 2 or 3 times in the next couple weeks. The idea The idea behind this is to be able to put this back at this level instead of being up here where it used to be, to put it back here so this door can close. And this here will allow us to do it. So now I need something to keep this from falling back. Alright? That's step one. And step one of that is I'm going to take and cut this down, but I'm going to extend this in a little bit on that side and on this side. And I'm going to put a block back here. I got to put a double stack block here to keep this from going any further. So, and the piece that goes in the middle will have to have that behind it. So I'll just extend this over a little bit. Once I get that done, then what I need is I need something to go in the front of this to keep it from falling forward. Alright, when the door's shut, it'll be okay. It'll be, you know, we'll be able to close it. So I might drill a hole through this and just put a dowel rod through it, and that will keep it, because I'm going to, if I tie it to the center section. So let's see what happens, what works. When you got old wood, you got to drill through it. Okay, so this wood here is pretty new, but the stuff that's up here is not. So I put the screws in just to tip out, and then I'm going to push in on them a little bit so I can figure out where to put a hole. Otherwise, I'm going to split this wood when I put the screws into it. Now, the wood could still split, but at least I'm giving it a fair chance not to. I guess did not split. Alright, so that'll do. So I gotta do the same thing to the next 4 pieces. I'm gonna block up here. I'm gonna put a block in and extend this back and drop it down so we can have something that doesn't fall out. So, right here. I don't have enough of these. Alright, that's gonna work. And now we can close that door. It's a little snug, but it's okay. Probably because there's a twist in this frame. Alright, so there's the first one. Let's get the rest of these done. Found some rebar in the shop, so I'm going to try putting a hole through this and just putting a piece of rebar at the top and at the bottom and see if that'll keep us from falling out. It should. I'm just hoping that this hole's not going to be too big. So let's just see what happens here. That'll do. Put one at the bottom. So we'll put the one at the bottom and we'll put a couple on the other side, and that'll be the beginning of the door. Alright, so that'll take care of the chicken coop repair. Easy enough now for us to come in and pull these out and just pull this door out to get to their food when it's on that side, or to the water on the other, and just put the pins back in. Not really worried about critters coming in and ripping this apart, because it does take a little bit to get it out. May have to put another pin on the other side, maybe up in here for this one, because it keeps on leaning forward. But if we need to do that, that'll be fine. The middle part, just take these out, take this board off of here, and it'll come out quite easily. So I think it's pretty good. I think it'll work real well. At least we can shut the doors at night now, because all we need to do is take that middle pin, this thing out, and close the doors, because this was becoming a little bit wieldy for my wife. So again, if you're interested in raising chickens, chickens are really easy to raise. All right, when you get them, they're only about yay big, literally, about 2-3 inches tall. They're a day old. You go down to TSC or Rural King or order them online even. Get at least a dozen of them. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Get a dozen chickens. You get about an egg a day, and you're going to think, wow, an egg a day, I'll get a dozen eggs, I'll become really rich, I'll start selling eggs for $4 a dozen. Doesn't really work like that. We do sell eggs to some of our friends. That helps us cut the cost of the feed, okay? But a bag of feed is about $19, and if you have a dozen chickens, that $19 for that bag of feed is going to go in about a week and a half. So if you're getting $20 of eggs, okay, $20 of feed, and say a dozen eggs of brown eggs right now is going for about $4 a dozen, and you got 28 of those, a dozen a day approximately. And I'm going to say approximately because some days you'll get 10, some days you get 12, some days you get 14. So if you take, say, a dozen a day times 7, right, times 4, that's 28 bucks. So if you think you're gonna become a millionaire with making $8 a week profit, go for it. But you still have to do things like buy grit, you gotta buy waters, you gotta buy feeders, you gotta buy, put your coop in place, you gotta have straw, you gotta have little, these guys here, they're called pine wood shavings for the chicks. And another thing you gotta think about is when you get chickens, like we just got 16, we're gonna have to feed them that $20 bag a week of food for 5 months, okay? So it's gonna cost us about $500 to start getting eggs. Just keep all that in mind. If you're looking to buy eggs for yourself, you know, to get eggs for yourself, by all means do it. They're the best eggs you're gonna get. The yolks are more yellow or more orange. They have a better flavor to them. Eggs that you get in the store have got to be bleached. Now what that means, when a chicken lays an egg, there's a protective coating around it. All right, that egg can literally sit on your counter for 30 days. And that's not a joke, go look it up. If you refrigerate them, they can sit in your fridge for 1 year. Okay, and they'll still be fresh. All right, we get our eggs from our chickens, put them in little cartons, put them in the fridge. Now when we go to use them, we rinse them under warm water to make sure they're, you know, they're clean, but that's it. That's all we do. We don't sit there and wash them, we don't put them in bleach, we don't do anything with them. Then you crack them, you put them in the pan or whatever you're gonna do, use them for. We've been eating for like 16 years now. And I love them. If you go and you get a white egg from the store or a brown egg from the store, they just don't taste right. I don't know what the deal is, but they don't taste the same. Could be a different variety of chicken, or it could be the bleach that they're putting in them, the bleach water, I don't know. Anyway, highly recommend getting eggs. Hopefully you liked the video. Hopefully it made some sense. This here was kind of a bonus. This was something I was trying to get done, but then I started thinking about it, and then why don't I just tell everybody about how to raise chickens? So if you liked the video and everything that, you know, went on today, please click like. If you got any comments or anything, please throw them down in the comments, you know. We'll start a discussion. I'll answer any questions that you have, if you have any. Please subscribe to the channel too. It's what keeps us going, it keeps us doing this kind of stuff when people keep on subscribing. This video is about, you know, the farm, so there is going to be more videos about the farm. We also have videos on woodworking, CNC stuff, and got a barn pole replacement going on right now. Trying to get that one done. My wife Susan does a lot of videos on lasers. She's got an X-Tool S1 and X-Tool F1, so there's a bunch of videos coming out for that. And of course, you know, like I said, there's things like this on the farm. So this video kind of started with just me wanting to do this as a woodworking kind of video. And I thought, you know, there's probably a lot of people out there that might be interested or might need some knowledge on how to raise chickens or how to get chickens and how to do it. So that's where this whole thing spun into, hey, if you want to buy chickens, this is what you got to do. So again, if you like the video, please click like. Please subscribe to the channel. You're always welcome back to the farm, the shop, the channel, whatever. And as always, have a nice day.